Hey everyone, has your body ever asked you to slow down and you knew there was a deeper meaning to it? Yep, that's exactly what happened to me. Thank you for coming back. It's been 3 weeks that I've been off air, and I appreciate you for catching all of our reposts and reruns of episodes. You guys, I'm telling you, take care of your bodies. For the most part, I was, but not to the T, and it took me down with bronchitis for 2.5 weeks. So I had no voice, as you can imagine. What I do on this show is I speak to you all with so much love and intention, and I needed to take a break. So I had to take a break back, stepping back. So if you're joining me again to see, hey, what's going on? Are you there? I am. And I love you for it. Thank you so much. I just want to just celebrate where we're at, you guys. The show is now at 24,000 views a month, and I'm so grateful for you. If you're new to the show, welcome. I'm excited you're here. And if you've been watching me from the beginning, thank you so much. Truly, truly grateful and honored that you're coming back. So, lots to talk about, lots to catch up with, you guys. And today's episode is really going to be about how you got to show up when your body is forcing you to slow down. And then we're going to jump into a topic that actually just came out today. And I think it's something very important that we share and we talk about, or, I share with you all because it has a lot to do with connecting with women and how to show up in a space of support when you've been holding on to trauma for so long. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we had some big news that just came out in California, Southern California, I should say, with Dolores Huerta. She was a civil rights activist leader with Cesar Chavez back in the 60s. And she has shared about her own sexual experience. So we'll talk more about that towards the end. So I just want you to stay with me because there's going to be some stuff we're going to dive into. And I prayed, I spoke with God, and I just said, okay, guide me, lead me to the direction you want me to be in today's show. And so I want you guys to get a lot of nuggets out of like my own experiences and of course where God is guiding me to so that you can then be the boots on the ground for where you're at and how you can bless and be there for people. Sound good? All right, you guys. My apologies if I clear my throat. Still trying to get a little bit of clearness out of my throat, and the cough was just insane. So my apologies if I will try to do mute as much as possible because that definitely isn't fun when you bring it up on the microphone. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and get my notes together, and I want to share. So, okay, here we go. For the past couple of weeks, as you all know, my body forced me to do something that I didn't plan for. It basically slowed me down. I've been dealing with a persistent cough that made it really difficult to speak. And when your work involves having these conversations and recording shows, that's not exactly ideal, right? Right? But sometimes our bodies say that our schedules, what our schedules won't. They interrupt us and they force us to pause. And so I was telling like my accountability group and my friends and my family and things like that. I was like, I know what's happening. And sure enough, see, there's a reason for everything that happens in our life. And I know God paused me for a reason. He's like, okay, come back, slow down, because if you don't know, I was in a direction where I was going to jump full force into my business. Like I've been doing, I have a little part time on the side, but we always hold on to those part times and not really jumping into things head first. And so when I was like, okay, I'm going to do this full in, it's everything's going to be this way and this is what I'm going to do. And I was going to do that 3 weeks ago. So it's always funny because God will bring you back and be like, hold up, not yet. and sometimes redirect us. And I'm okay with that, honestly. It's frustrating, don't get me wrong. And there's going to be tons of times where you're frustrated in your life because things don't go according to plan. But that's okay. Wait for the lesson, wait for the outcome. What is it that he wants you to see, know, understand? And so, you guys, it is 100 degrees in Southern California right now. And so I have my AC on and everything, but for some reason in the corner of my office area, just insanely hot. So bear with me as I'm going like this to kind of adapt the little, you know, the sweat marks. All right, you guys. So understand that again, you will get redirected. It's not something that you plan on, but remember that his plan is better than your own. So these pauses, they remind us that we're not machines, right? We're actually human beings. I know. And today I want to talk to you about what happens when your body forces you to slow down. Okay. So, hey everyone, I'm Francine Ayala, and this is You Were Meant for More, and a space where we talk about the human experience through faith, healing, and emotional awareness. And today's conversation is a little bit more personal because sometimes the lessons we teach are the ones we're learning in real time. So, like I said, I was slowed down the past 2.5 weeks, and it's not a failure. Sometimes it's alignment, which we talked about. God will readjust. I've told you. Because we live in a culture that rewards productivity, constant movement, pushing through, getting back to work. There's this unspoken message that if you stop, you fall behind. And honestly, you guys, can I be real with you? Because you know I'm always real with you. How many of you like to stay behind? Yeah, no, not me. I'm sorry. I'm that one that just wants to keep pushing through. So, like I said, life will stop you in your tracks and tell you to rest, whether it be bronchitis, like me, or whether it be a head cold, or whether it be the flu. Your body will tell you when enough is enough and you need to slow down. Okay. But of course, we don't want to listen, right? Well, we start thinking, I should be doing more, I should be catching up, I should be pushing through life, because we see all these other people doing it and, we got to be like them because we're on the same, timeline as them. We are not. Okay. So our bodies are incredibly intelligent. They know when something needs attention. And sometimes the body speaks when the mind refuses to listen. How many times has that happened to you? It happens to me pretty often, actually. So if you're joining me live, let me know. Do you go through that? Just wondering. Or if you're catching this on replay, let me know. I'm curious. All right. So your body is talking, and are you listening? Sometimes our bodies say, like I said, what our schedules won't. We push through fatigue, we ignore stress, we override the signals, and eventually the body says enough. Not as a punishment, but as protection. Sometimes slowing down isn't failure. It's the reset your body has been asking for. Are you okay with that? All right. When we ignore stress long enough, when we keep pushing past our limits, when we override that fatigue, tension, and overwhelm, the body eventually says, that's it, you're done. Illness can sometimes be the body's way of forcing a reset, not as a punishment, but as protection. So it slows us down long enough to ask questions we've actually been avoiding. And questions like, what have I been carrying? Where have I been pushing too hard? Where have where have I ignored my own needs? Those questions can be uncomfortable. And they're also very they're very known to our body that this is where growth begins. All right? I mean, you guys have to understand that our bodies are actually signaling to us that something isn't right. And I always tell people, I'm like, just pause, be silent. God is trying to push you. He's pushing you to slow down. He's pushing you to realign. And I knew that because it was more for him to tell me before I really jumped into the business. And I did. I heard what he needed to share, and he's still sharing. So be patient. Understand that it's not, there's a reason for you to not excel so quickly. He needs you to pause so that you can listen to his message before you then proceed forward. Okay? Amen. All right. So the rest is not falling behind. So your body needs that rest. We live in a culture that rewards constant productivity, the keep moving, the keep working, the keep pushing. So when we slow down, we feel like we're falling behind. And I'm going to repeat that every time so that you understand that process. But the truth is this: rest is not wasted. Sometimes rest is the most productive thing you can do for your mind, for your body, and for your spirit. Allow God to speak to you. Be still and listen. Again, you're going to hear me repeating these words because I want you to understand this is something that is God driven. He is going to guide you to where He wants you to be. I'm going to share an example. So I'm always amazed at, life in general. Okay. As humans, we're going to always try to do life on our own. Well, not try, it comes automatically, right? You all know you're joining me here for the human experience because I'm going to share all things human, but I'm also going to share how God is moving in you through your spirit. So today, I was driving a student because I drive students on the side. If you don't know, I do a lot of coaching. So I do this because I love to be in a space with students to guide them, to encourage them, to motivate them. And some of the kids I drive are actually in group homes. And so I absolutely love what I do. And I'm able to be a beacon in their life so that they hear through me, or from me, the Spirit is sharing, right? And so today I had it on a radio station that this particular student enjoyed. So it was like kind of like a rock station. And I like rock. I like classic rock. Okay. And I put it on this station because I knew he liked it. And every single song that came out, I knew. So I was like, oh, he's like, hey, what station is this? And then I'm like, it's KLOS. I go, they're playing the jams today. He said, yeah, I was just going to say every single song is really good. Like, and I said, yeah. So then we continue on and I'm driving. And then it came out, this one song came on and I didn't know it. I'd never heard it or anything like that. He's like, did you hear that? We should be listening to the words. Did you hear right now about that? He goes, we should really understand and know what we're putting in our body as far as like drugs, like medicines and things like that. And I said, actually, that's true. We should know. And it was so funny because I said, I love how you only heard that through that song. I didn't. And I kind of giggled. I said, yeah, God always has a way of sharing something with you. And I said, life has a way of sharing things with you because we're all on our own journey. We're all on our own journey of life. So there may be something that you need to hear that they didn't hear, or they need to hear that you didn't hear. And that's okay because we're all experiencing life the way it's meant to be. Okay. So when things are rough, when things aren't going on your way, and I told him this too, because I want to say he's a teenager for sure. But I was just like, I go, one of the best things you can do and one of the best things I can leave you with is follow God now. I go, and you may think I'm crazy. Oh, this lady in this car, she's probably crazy. Bible thumper, right? And I said, no, I said, but that's okay. I said, you may not listen to me now, but I promise you, when you try to do life on your own for so long and it's not going your way and you're just falling out of misery and things are getting complicated, I said, then you'll remember me and you'll remember this message that I gave you. I said, because for 20 years, I go, yes, I followed God. I was there, but I never followed him. Like he'd be telling me things and I'm like, what? What? There's something going on over there. And I wouldn't listen and I wasn't obedient. And I tried to do everything on my own because, human, right? Human experience. And then he reverted me back. Or when I didn't listen, he threw me in the belly of the whale. And so, what does that mean? He threw me in the belly of the whale. When Jonah in the Bible, when Jonah didn't listen to him, life got complicated. Now, does God want to punish? No, he doesn't want to punish. But it's funny how life happens. The terminology of people say life be lifing. So when life is lifing for you, I promise you, do it his way, not yours. Your life will change. And I say this not to do any other thing, but just guide you. It's just, I can tell you a million times over how many times I tried to do life my way. And it just did not work out. So I'm telling you, don't want to stay stuck. I'm just here to guide you. I'm that little guiding person. All right. So one thing I noticed while I was resting was this. When the noise stops, clarity begins. This was also the time that I started the Lent, the Hollow app on, and I was doing the Lent 40-day prayer. It was a session in the Hollow app, and actually we're still going through it because Lent isn't over, and stops on Easter. And so I jumped into that because I really wanted that clarity and that connection, to draw closer wherever I could. And so when the noise stops, clarity begins, right? When we're constantly moving, our minds are cluttered. Yeah, anybody else's mind? That's me. Our thoughts are racing, our nervous system stays activated. It really does, you guys. But when we pause, we can actually hear ourselves again. And more importantly, we can hear God more clearly. So everything I'm telling you is his direction for your life, for mine. Because, like I said before in past episodes, I'm not the perfect Christian. I'm not the perfect God follower. I'm not the perfect child of God. I'm just the one that was led here to share with you how many times I did the human experience and then finally gave it to God to take over because, yeah, I got tired of my way not working. All right, you guys. So there's this belief that strength means pushing through everything, but real strength includes awareness. It includes listening. It actually includes recognizing when something needs care. Your body is not the enemy. It's not something to override or ignore. It's your messenger. And the more we listen, the more we learn. And the more we learn to listen to it, the more balanced and grounded our lives become. Your body keeps score. When we ignore stress long enough, the body keeps score. It stores tension, it stores fatigue, and it stores overwhelm. And eventually it forces a reset, not because you're weak, but because your system needs space to recover. Remember that. It's not, our bodies are not against us. It's actually there to support us. But we have to be willing to pause, to be still, to listen. What does it need? Like today, you guys, it's so crazy. Today, I realized, oh, that's right. I know how to make electrolytes. How many times do you go out there and buy electrolytes? Anybody? Anybody else buy electrolytes at the store? You're paying for all of this? Well, thank you, Will, for sharing. Your mind's all over the place. Yeah, when we're not grounded. Yeah, mine could be too. So we have to reset and bring it back to him. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. But you guys, like I learned that, not learned, but I just remembered that I know how to make electrolytes. It's super simple. If you've never learned how to make electrolytes, and you don't have to keep buying it, and the sugary drinks out there like Gatorade, Powerade, they have like 30 grams of sugar. So, yes, I know you do. Well, stop buying it. I'm going to share with you how easy it is to make your own electrolytes. Well, yes, I know the energy boost, of course. Okay, how to make your own electrolytes. Water, okay? Add some ice in there because this heat is unbearable. And squeeze some lemon. Squeeze lemon, like half a lemon, squeeze lemon in there. I usually do like a quarter, maybe like like a teaspoon. I mean, I'm sorry, a tablespoon. I drop some pink Himalayan salt. If you don't have pink Himalayan salt, use regular salt. And I personally, if you guys don't know, I use it's liquid stevia. I get it at Trader Joe's, and it's a bottle. It's like $7 and it lasts me months. And I do a couple drops of that, and I literally mix it up, and it tastes like like a light lemonade. Very good, and it hydrates you. And those are your natural electrolytes. Just do that. Okay, Will? Do your own electrolytes at home. It's super simple, and it's healthier for you, and it doesn't have all the sugars inside that affect your body, because you all know that sugar is one of the number one killers in our bodies. It literally breaks down so many things. And I'm not judging anybody, because I have my own issue with sugar, meaning like I love sweets. I love eating desserts and things like that. But I have to do it in moderation, because I know the effects of sugar on our bodies. And so that's a whole other topic. So I will get back into what I'm sharing with you guys today. But Will, make sure you do your electrolytes at home. All right, you guys. So these past 2 weeks reminded me of a few things. First, rest is not wasted time. Second, slowing down often reveals what constant movement hides. And third, healing sometimes requires space. Space to breathe, space to think, and space to reconnect with what actually matters. Okay? So I want to ask you something. Is there an area of your life where you've been pushing too hard? Where you've been ignoring signals from your body and your emotions, or even your spirit? What might happen if you allowed yourself to slow down even briefly? Not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. And you know, the best part of slowing down is when you take that time to be still and sit with God and pray or talk. I like having conversations with Him. And I giggle because there's times when I'm like, oh, I'm tired. And then I'm like, I don't want to talk right now, but thank you for another day. I'm so grateful. And I giggle, you guys, because guess what? I'm still human. I have human emotions. I have human responses. I have human like feelings of like, oh, today was a tiring day. You know, we all go through it. So be still in the mornings, quiet time. Don't pick up your phone. I'm really bad at that. I pick up my phone right away, and I'm just like, I feel like waking up and, scrolling gives me that boost to get up, but it actually doesn't. If you really want to set your tone for the day and for the week, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's career or your business, you have to set your tone with intention. Be still, be with God in the morning, pray, be grateful. Every single day, be grateful for what it is you have in your life, no matter what it is, because somebody else doesn't have it. And I turn on my worship music, so I'll listen and I'll sing along to my worship music. And then there's times I'll hop into my Bible and I'm like, all right, God, what do you got for me today? And seriously, there's always a message. But there's days, you guys, where again, I'm not the perfect person, Christian, to say I'm in my Bible every day. I'm not. But there's times I'll be like, all right, what do you got for me? And I'll open it up. And then I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'll continue. If there's nothing specific, like if he doesn't tell me to go to a certain area, then I'll continue where I'm at. So like right now I'm in John. And I'm reading John. And there's a lot of messages in John about the human experience and earthly things. And it's funny because he's personally directing me because of what I'm sharing with you guys. The coach in me, how I share, the spiritual psychology that I share, he's guiding me. So whenever I feel like I'm not doing it right, or I'm not showing up enough, or I'm feeling like not as confident today, he'll show me in the Bible that I'm on the right path, because it'll literally lead to messages that say we're not of earthly things. It's broader than that. We're of the spirit. And so I'm like, all right, God, I see you. All right, I'll redirect. So that's basically what's been happening for me. And I want to make sure that it's happening for you guys. So be still. Okay. Remember, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. Okay. So clarity requires stillness. When life finally slows down, something interesting happens. The noise fades, your thoughts settle, and clarity begins to return. Sometimes we don't need more answers. We just need more stillness. And slowing down doesn't mean you're falling behind. Sometimes it means you're realigning with your body. Remember, you guys, I told you mind, body, spirit. He told me a couple months now back, bring everybody back to the heart, because that's where he is. And that's why I launched the Self-Love Mastermind. Okay. Now I am doing one on Saturday this weekend, which I'll talk more about at the end. And it's probably going to be the last one that I put out for a while, because I feel like everybody's busy. So I'm going to create videos on demand so that you can watch them at your own pace. But I tell people, if they want to be in coaching with me, show up in person, because it'll be the last time that I do that type of virtual coaching. Okay. So realigning with your priorities and realigning with the life you were actually meant to live. That is what I want for you guys. And if there's one thing I hope you take from today's conversation, it's this. Slowing down doesn't mean you're falling behind. Sometimes it means you're realigning with what matters most. If this conversation resonates with you and you're looking for the deeper clarity, healing, or emotional alignment, you can book a call with me, complimentary session, okay? You guys know that, francineayala.com/meant for more. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the area so that you guys can grab it. And then we're going to go into the discussion about what's happened in today's events. So there you go, francineayala.com/meant for more. You can book a complimentary session with me. And let me go ahead and share our next topic. All right. But before I forget, if this message also spoke to you, please share, subscribe, like this episode, and share it with someone who might need this reminder today on how it's okay to slow down. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply pause, right? And remember to listen, okay? Okay, you guys. So as I mentioned earlier, today a statement went out, a pretty bold statement. And I share this because it really hit me. It hit my heart. And I know it hit a lot of women and men, that read it. And I just want to share really quick the details of what it said, and you can definitely go see it for yourself. And so let me go ahead and share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But If you haven't already seen it, it's on the Facebook page of Dolores Huerta. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Let me see. Hopefully it's sharing. There we go. All right. So let me just make sure it's sharing. But here it is. It's on the Facebook page. And it's a big topic today, the story about it and everything. And so I want to just pull up really quick just to make sure that you guys can see it okay. So give me a second while I pull it up. Okay, good. All right, perfect. So she wrote out this message and it just says she released the following statement. Okay. So she talks about she's nearly 96 years old. And for the last 60 years, she's kept this secret about what's happened to her. And I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but she no longer wants to stay silent. She spent her entire life fighting for a movement, for the farm workers movement with Cesar Chavez. And so she wants to share her own experiences. So as a young mother in the 1960s, she experienced sexual encounters with Caesar, who basically pressured her into having sex with him. And she didn't feel that she could say no, and or anything at the time, because he was admired, he was her boss. They were leading this movement, and she had already devoted years of her life to this movement, and she didn't want anything to affect it. And so, she actually ended up getting pregnant and having two children, and she had other families raise these two kids so that they would have stable lives. But over the years, she was fortunate enough to have a relationship with these children, and then introduce them to her own children. So she's carried this secret for a long time, and she did because of the movement, and the farm workers' rights was a way of life for her, and she didn't want to affect that. And so, she makes a bold statement and says she's never identified herself as a victim, but she understands that she's a survivor of violence and sexual abuse, of domineering men, and who saw her and other women as property. Okay. So she's telling her story because the New York Times indicated that she was the only one. She wasn't the only one, sorry. There were others. Women are coming forward sharing that they were sexually abused and assaulted by Caesar when they were girls and teenagers. So, this knowledge that he hurt so many young girls and women in general, it hurts her, and so she's finally breaking her silence, and she's sharing with all to know and to understand. So I want to leave it there and just come back to you all. And oh, I hope it showed okay. Okay, I think it did because I see it online. Okay, perfect. But I do want to share something with you all. I want to share how brave she is and was for sharing her experience. So many women don't speak out for fear of retaliation, for fear of judgment, for fear of so many other reasons. And the thing is, being a leader of a whole women empowerment movement since 2017, I felt it so important to share. So I shared in our women empowerment group. I shared on my personal Facebook page, but I wanted to really allow women this space to know that they are not alone. They are not forgotten. They are supported in so many ways. There's resources available. There's tons of people that want to support you. If you or somebody is affected by this, she even leaves detailed information on who to contact and on the Facebook page. And this was a powerful message today because if you're joining from anywhere around the world, this was a huge movement back in the 60s. It was for immigrants and farm workers. And Cesar Chavez, it was like Cesar E. Chavez, he was everywhere. Growing up, we heard his name. They changed streets in honor of his name. They have schools in the LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified School District, um, created a holiday in support of him. I almost want to say it's March 31st every year. And that's all like they were going to have festivities, and that's all gone. Like, not all gone, but like they stopped the festivities, they put a halt to them. And because there's just this whole understanding of someone that, the community loved and supported for so long is now coming up in these allegations of sexual abuse. And it's really tough because we there's this whole movement for women that we're trying to support each other, and know that so many women have been affected in their lives and what they've gone through and their own experiences. And I want to be able to be here as a space of love and empathy and compassion and understanding. And I put a message out there for any woman suffering, or even any man, because I know, men go through stuff too. If you're suffering in a space where you don't know where to turn, and you've been violated in any way, I just want to share you're not alone. And please reach out to me. Reach out via DMs. You guys know how to get in touch with me. I'm all over social media. There should be no, how do you say, no barriers to make you feel like you can't reach out, because you're truly supported. Now, I may not have the resources for you, but I know I can get you in contact with people who do. But I want to let anybody who's listening know that like, I'm here for you. The community I manage is here for you. Our whole mission was that you never do life alone. It's reigniting your spark. My show is called You Were Meant for More. There's more to happen in your life. There's more coming for you. If anything like this has ever happened to you, this isn't the end of your story. This is only the beginning of your survival, of your testimony, of your mission to support so many others. And that's what Dolores did. By sharing her message, she's allowed the floodgates to open for so many other women. And all I'm saying is, I want to be able to be there. My community wants to be able to be there to support anybody who's out there suffering in silence. And just know that we're here to help in any way, even if it's just a conversation. Because one thing that I'm so adamant about is making sure people speak. So this could be completely aside from today's message on sexual abuse and sexual allegations, but that you don't stay quiet. You don't suffer in your pain. Because what happens is, when we hold in these emotions and we hold in these feelings of anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, it only affects us internally. So then illness arises, maybe, flu, bronchitis, or maybe the heart, is not working properly. This is why I tell people, don't hold on to things. You have to be able to share with others so that you're not going through life alone. You're not doing this by yourself. We, as humans, were never meant to do life alone. So please reach out if this has impacted you in any way, or somebody that it can support. So just a little bit of her background. So as mentioned, she's a civil rights leader. Dolores Huerta, now in her 90s, released a statement after a major allegation. She shared that she had kept a secret for over 60 years. She describes experiences of sexual coercion and assault by Cesar Chavez, a widely respected historical figure. And the investigation also includes allegations involving other victims, including minors, Organizations connected to Chavez have paused celebrations in response to these allegations. Okay, so we honor the impact of a movement and also hold space for the pain that may have existed within it. Okay, know that that's okay. We can still honor the movement that took place. She was one of the people that spearheaded it. She co-founded it with Cesar Chavez. And she held this space for years in her own silence so that others can flourish in the aftermath of what they so boldly represented for so many people in the immigration community of the farm workers. So when someone is in a position of power, it can make it incredibly difficult for others to speak up. And I'm very familiar with this, meaning like not necessarily me in general, but I'm very familiar with that type of process where so many people feel isolated that they can't speak up because there's people of power. And we know this, we've seen it on the news, we've seen it happen in many other cases. Okay, so remember, you're not alone. Silence isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's survival. And so what, Dolores Huerta herself said, she stayed in silent to protect the movement she dedicated her life to. There's always that fear of being believed, the fear of damaging something bigger, the loyalty to a cause that made her stay silent. There's never any judgment on why people do the things they do. There's just space for growth and opportunity to know that you are supported. Okay. Now, obviously come forward when you're ready, because nobody can push you and tell you to do anything you're personally not ready for. It causes, the nervous system to react a certain way. So by all means, if you know anybody's suffering, just let them know that, we're here. My community, WILA, women empowering women, living authentically. That's what the brand stands for. I created a whole women empowerment movement to support women. Now, it was never against, I remember when I first started, people thought it was against men. I'm like, no, it's just supporting women in leadership, business, career, mental well-being. And this includes it. I want to make sure every single woman is supported. And then, of course, I do coaching for men too. So this is it. It's not about tearing someone down either. It's about understanding that the complexity of human behavior and the cost of silence. Okay? Leadership is not just about impact. It's about integrity behind the scenes. So we always want to know we're supported. Moments like this bring us strong emotions because they challenge what we believed to be true. Okay? We understand this process because this gentleman, this man, he was someone who was such a leader in our community, in the Los Angeles community, East LA to be specific. And so many people feel this betrayal or confusion or maybe defensiveness or grief for somebody that they believe so wholeheartedly in. And it's understandable, when somebody spearheads a movement like that. But just know we also get to hold space for the people that were affected in a not so kind manner. And that's what I wanted to share today with you guys. And again, we don't need to rush to conclusions. She shared her statements, and I believe supporting one another in all areas wherever they may show up in their life is something we get to do. We also don't ignore when people find the courage to speak, and we support them wherever we can. Okay? All right, you guys. Please let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to share, you want to know, you want me to speak about. I mean, it's just, there was a lot today to unpack. To unpack. I feel like I can't speak right now. Unpack. There you go. You know what's so funny? I was using the word impact and unpack. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you so much for being here with me. I want to be able to know that you're all doing well out there. And thank you for, again, for holding space while I was down for a couple of weeks and for still showing up and for being in this space with me and knowing that God had led you here to hear a message of some sort. And I'm grateful that you're here. So, lastly, I wanted to share with you, as I mentioned, the Self Love Mastermind is coming up this weekend. If it's something that you've always wanted to do and coach with me personally, get the guidance, ask the questions, because in this space, I ask questions. I break down to the depth that people aren't aware of. So we have the conscious mind and then we have the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is what we're aware of what's going on in front of us. The subconscious mind is the one that runs on automatic. It runs on automatic of all of our past experiences. It slows us down. It will guide us in directions our conscious mind is not even aware of. We may be holding on to emotions, triggers, traumas, things that our bodies aren't willing to let go, but we wonder why we're not moving forward in life or something, or we're not in the right relationships, or we're not showing up in a space of confidence and courage. And I get down to the nitty gritty of it all. So if you're interested, definitely join. It is virtual. And, we're going to be in it for 3 hours. It's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to eventually turn this course into video on demand where you can, like I said, watch at your own pace and then, ask questions when you can via email and things like that. Okay. So if there's nothing else, you guys, you have any questions, I'm going to call it and just allow you guys to sit with this and know that, there's more to come. There's more of an impact that we're making. God is going to be leading in the direction of like where we're headed next. And I'm excited to share with you all on the next episode. And I want you guys to be in space with him as well. I want you to open your Bible. What message does he have? I want you to go to church. What message are they sharing that you heard? Because he speaks to you there too without you even realizing it. So just know I started a new church, you guys. I love it. I love it so much. So more to come. I'm excited. All right. So let me know if there's anything that you want me to speak about next week. I'm excited that you guys are here. I'm like, I feel like there's so much more to catch up with. It's been 3 weeks. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the 28th. Okay. So you all don't know, my son surprised my mom with an all expense paid trip to Hawaii for her birthday. That was in February. So yay. And I'm going with them. So that we're going to Hawaii next month. So yay. Just wanted to share that exciting news. And please drop in. Let me know what's going on in your life. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know where you're catching this live. Send me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You guys know how to get a hold of me. So you can follow me at any of my social media channels. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Know that you're loved. You were here. You were put here for a purpose. There's so much more to life that's going to happen for you. Stay blessed. Go out there and love on people and know that you were meant for more. Thank you guys. God bless you. Take care. See you next week. Bye.